Well, hello everyone, I'm Ron and this is Pearl. Some of you may have met Pearl before in an earlier video that I did about how to repair broken garage door opener sensors. So anyway, Pearl discovered that there was some rot at the base of the jamb here at the back door. And being the helpful dog that she is, she went ahead and started removing some of the decayed material. And actually, she's done a pretty good job of getting rid of most of it. So what I need to do is just clean up what she's done and effect the repair. So let's get this project underway. So first I need to check for soundness and see where the good wood is and where the rotted wood ends. And actually, I think this is pretty well defined. Like I said, she got most of the rotted wood out, so what's left here feels pretty solid. So let's take a few measurements. It looks like on this frame board, if I come up to, well, we'll make it 3 inches. That'll take care of all that. And if I go back, I want to say 1.5 inches. That's easy enough. That should get rid of that. And it looks like if I go to right about there on the brick mold, that will get rid of all the decayed material that's left. So the tool that's going to make this job easier is an oscillating multi-tool. This is my first project with one of these, and if you're curious enough, I did an unboxing video with this, and there's a link to that video at the end of this video. I made this guide block out of a scrap piece of plywood to help keep my cut straight. So the piece of wood that I cut out of the door frame was 1¼ inches thick. So this is some pressure treated decking left over from when I remodeled our deck a couple of years ago. So I'm going to use it to glue up a block that's thick enough and oversized to fit in where the piece of the door frame was, and then I'll cut it to fit after the glue is cured. Maybe a tad too much glue. I'll clean that up. So here's the piece of brick mold that I removed from the house, and you may remember that it broke into 2 pieces when I removed it, but I glued it back together and then I trimmed the end on the table saw so I can get a really clean look at this profile. Because instead of buying an 8-foot piece of this when I really only need 5 or 6 inches, I think I can make this on the table saw. So let's look at how we might do that. I'm going to trace the profile out on a piece of paper and then do some measurements. So I can't make this profile on the table saw, but I can make this shape, and I can make this shape, and then glue them together to make the full molding. Okay, so after taking some measurements off of this block, here's what I've come up with. So I'll make this piece and then this piece and glue them together to form the complete molding. I'll start with this piece of pressure treated 2x4. I'm going to end up needing almost exactly 6 inches of the finished molding, but of course I'm going to make the piece longer than that to start with, and right now I'm going to trim these knots out. And because it was construction grade lumber, I went ahead and squared it up on the jointer. Okay, that's pretty close on the bottom section. Now let's work on the top part. Okay, so let's put these together, and there is my homemade brick mold. I think when I soften these edges a little bit, it'll blend in very well. I put a couple of brads in here and then cut them off just above the surface so that when I apply clamp pressure, these will bite into the second piece and prevent it from sliding. So here's the block that I glued up to make the repair to the door jamb. Well, I'll save you all the back and forth, but basically I'm going to take some measurements, do the cuts, come back, test fit, go back, adjust, and just go back and forth until I get it like it needs to be. Well, after several times back and forth making adjustment cuts, here's the block that will be used to fill in the door jamb. And as you can see, it's a pretty good fit. I'm going to screw through here into the door jamb, and then this screw will be covered by the brick mold. Even though this is pressure treated wood, I'm going to seal the bottom end grain with glue to prevent it from wicking up any moisture. Okay, onto the brick mold. Just like before, I'm going to seal the end grain. I needed a shim about just less than 1/16 of an inch thick at the top, right here, to keep it from going in a little bit too far. I know that looks like a lot of glue, but there's a little bit of a gap in places in the back, and I'm just going to glue this piece in. I'm not going to fasten it with any kind of mechanical fastener. After some filler, sanding, caulking, priming, and painting, I think I'll be able to blend this repair pretty well. Okay, so now it's the next day. By the time I finished filling, sanding, and caulking, I had pretty much run out of daylight yesterday. So I covered the area up because I knew we were supposed to have some light rain last night, and we did, but the area is still dry, so I'm ready to prime and paint and get this thing finished. Okay, there's the primer coat, so let's let that cure for a while. Okay, there's the first coat. Okay, let's do a second coat of paint. So there's two coats of paint. I might look at it tomorrow and decide to do a third coat, but for the sake of the video, we'll call it done. So here is a before and after shot for you. I know it's not absolutely perfect, but considering where it is, I don't think it'll be very noticeable. If you found any value in this video, learned anything, or just enjoyed watching, be sure and hit that like button so YouTube will recommend it to other viewers. And if you appreciate this type of content, you might consider subscribing. But I thank you for watching, and I hope that I'll see you again soon in another video. Right, Pearl? Yeah, I know. Good girl. Right, Pearl? Yeah.